And welcome back to Reaper Pro Tips with me, your host, Anne. Disembodied hands, Quindy. Disembodied beard, John. Quindy, or Kiki, or... Sorry, Quindy. I called Kiki Quindy. That's bad. You are my best friend. Dog. She was standing here waiting for the stream to start, and then she just like, whoa, y'all can just talk to the tail. Off she goes. Oh well, we missed it. She's like, you missed my limited Kiki engagement window. Is it true, Bubba? I still hear clicky paws. There's still hope. Nope. Nope, she noped out. She's a lot furrier than you are, but you know. Yep. Fingers crossed, Twisted Oma. Sorry to hear about that. Hope you can turn it around. Or at least get the best possible outcome. Yes, everybody should mind being confused with Kiki, really. Do you really want that on your soul? Do you really want to be Kiki? I don't know. I guess she gets to sit around all day, but she doesn't get to eat nearly as much tasty food as we do. I mean, she thinks her food is tasty, but, you know, can you trust the dog's taste? Alrighty. Here we are. Whew. Boy, my brain is a lot more scattered today. I was really focused yesterday, and it was really cool because I got a lot done. But then, today I woke up and I just knew. I knew that my brain was a bunny trail brain. You know those days when you wake up and you know, uh-oh. Every shiny object that hits me today is going to be a challenge. You know that? You know that feeling? That's my feeling today. I feel like shiny objects. Although we actually just discovered, thanks to Kiki, by the way. Kiki, as it turned out, is an excellent alerting dog when something is not standard in her home, which is true of many shepherds, and Shilohs are extremely like that. But Kiki discovered a leak in our roof this morning. I would not have seen it. She heard the drips and barked until I came to investigate because her body language was weird. And then, lo and behold, there were drips. So now I have a bucket. It's here in my office, actually. So now we have to call the... and I have to make sure it's still... Yeah, it's okay. So now I have to call the roof people later today. You try to dig in the carpet at least 90% less than Kiki, so you have an advantage. Yeah, I told David he could thank the dingo for the detect. Yep. Yeah. I mean, it's why you have a shepherd, so that you know if something is wonky in your home. In or near your home. They will tell you. They will absolutely give you the bulletin. Well, the Kiki sighting, there was no real Kiki sighting. But, you know. Now I have to remember what colors I was using for this. I know I was using Ruddy Leather. I just can never remember the color that I'm using on top of that. I think it was Griffin Golden Brown. Or I mixed the oxides. One or the other. It's the same sort of thing anyway. Yellow oxide plus brown oxide equals the color you want to use to highlight leather with. Plus a little white, depending on how light or dark you're making it. And I just got a brand new bottle of Ruddy Leather. I'm so excited. Kiki LaRue. Oh no. Oh no. Quindy is Quindy. Because otherwise it'll be too confusing. Oh, do you have internet? Yay! Quindy! Woo! Spaghetti arms! That's worth spaghetti arms. For sure. All right. So, yes, you can either use a color like Griffin Golden Brown, if you have it, or you can use the old Chestnut Gold. You could use Leather Brown, but I find it's not saturated enough for me on this. I mean, it'll still give you a result that's close, but it's just, it's a little bit more faded. So if you want that, then you're good. Spider and centipede detecting cats. Yeah, my old cat would detect centipedes and stuff too. Although that was just bad, because that just made me think there were more than the ones she actually found. So yeah. Alright, so we're going to do our leather in on the scabbard and all the places that we didn't get it before. I'm going to leave her boots dark leather. I think we were using Corporeal Shadow or a... equivalent with our darks. Actually, I'm going to go grab that color, which is sitting over here on the table because I hadn't found a place for it yet. I almost have everything sorted out now. Almost. After totally revamping my desk. Only things about her side. Yeah, Kiki LaRue does sound like a stage name. Definitely exotic dancer or flamenco. Like, I get it. I just imagine, you know, humongous hats and lots of twirling skirts. Well, yeah. I mean, but if Quindy dragged out, then, you know, she'd be wearing, like, a tux, and that would be too sexy. Like, I don't think the world could handle that, really, Volnavia. I think women in tuxes are just like, wow. I always wished I would look good in a suit. Like, I think it was from the Paula Abdul days when she did the straight up video and she was wearing a suit. And it looked amazing on her because Paula Abdul. But yes, at that point, like, my little child brain was like, ooh, I want to look that good in a suit someday. So now I still have that. Flamenco kittens and the people that love... I want flamenco... Okay, that needs to be a thing. Is that on the internet? Somebody do a flamenco kittens search. It's been said, so it has to be on the internet somewhere. There needs to be a dancing flamenco kittens video. There needs to be. And then it needs to be shared with the universe. Oh, yeah, Paula Abdul. Yeah, right. Me neither. But that was it, though. That was the moment when women in suits became like wowza for me. That was my secret wish that I could one day look that good in a suit. I have yet to pull it off. I think I need to lose another 30 pounds. But flamenco kittens. Now, come on. Somebody, Google. We need to know if that's a thing. Because if it is, it will improve everyone's day. Just like Viking kittens. Like, if you need an upper, just go and, you know, watch the Viking kittens video. But if there are Viking kittens, why would there not be flamenco kittens? So I'm going to use the Griffin Golden Brown. I probably am going to add a little bit of white to it as well. Although it's doing pretty well there. We'll see. We'll test it. I think we probably do need a little bit of white. YouTube, it exists. Because if somebody hadn't done a video on flamenco kittens, I would wonder, like, what are you doing, world? Oh, take your allergy pill, Quindy. It's a rainy day here today, obviously, since our roof was leaking. And my allergies are going crazy. So, take your allergy pill. And I need to remember to get a Kleenex box for this room. Flamenco feline singer dancer. An awesome painting. All right. Let us get going here. I need water. Gonna thin these very little. Just 4:1 on all of it. Because I want the texture to show up for the lightest color. And I do want the ruddy leather to cover reasonably well over the top of the blue. I can always do a wet blend if I want to do more of a blend. But there's my mixing brush. But on 28s, like for small areas, often a real blend isn't necessary. And getting it close is enough. That changes when you get on things like cloth, where you've got this big, broad surface, and that's where you have to decide whether texture is your thing or if you're going to try to go more smooth. Flamenco feline singer dancer. Well, good. Now everybody's day has been improved. Unless there's anybody out there that doesn't like cats, but you can just, you know, you can just sit back, let the rest of us enjoy it. Even though I'm not currently a cat owner, I do appreciate the cuteness of the feline. And I love cat memes. Of course, I love dog memes too, but I think that cats really have it on the memes. Like, lolcats, better than lol dogs. I'm sorry, dogs. I love you. But lolcats, except for Moon Moon. Moon Moon is great. But other than that, I'm afraid that the cats really have the meme market. And rightfully so. They're just so much more memeable. There are exceptions. I think you guys better, like, dial back your expectations. Like, 24 hours, way too much to ask for. If you want Kiki LaRue to do a stream, you should start with a smaller period of time, get her addicted to streaming, and then demand your 24-hour stream. Because streaming can be addictive. Absolutely. I have thought more than once about, like, doing a surprise evening stream here or there. Why would you listen to people like that? Quindy, good one. All right, so mostly here, I'm going to leave it dark, kind of shadow down the middle of the quiver. Oh, we need to get more in focus. Focus and focus. See, I told you guys I was out of focus today. Apparently, I'm out of focus in both camera and brain. So I'm going to do the edges and the bottom, but I'm going to leave a bit of shadow down the middle here. Because the edges are what's more likely to get rubbed off. And the bottom is going to have more light falling on it as it comes out from under her arm. Well, you know, yeah, sure. Well, maybe Jabberwock, but it was mostly me. It was mostly my brain that was still blurry and I had forgotten to, Oh, hey, there's even a little gold-like thingadoodle on this side, so I guess I can leave it darker on that and just highlight the edges. So I'm just doing a little bit of a stippling stroke, and this, I think I thinned it, and yeah, it is really like a 4:1, I think. It's really not thinned very much. Unless I accidentally defaulted and dropped another drop of water into it, or decided it needed it. Because it does seem a little thin, but who knows? Yeah, see, that's the thing. That's the thing we do. If we really want the Kiki LaRue variety hour, is you get Kiki does, Quindy does. Now it's going to be there forever. It's going to be there forever, Quindy. So Quindy, Kiki, whoever the heck she is, does like an hour, and then, you know, gets 6 of her friends to each do 2 hours. You know, and then she does another hour, and then, yeah. Because it's a variety hour, right? So that means you don't have to actually, like, be there for 24 hours. Yeah. You and Kiki are soul sisters now. It's all over. Because Kiki LaRue just rolls off the tongue. I mean, I gotta say. Alright, let's see if my Griffin Golden Brown is thinned enough here. Ooh, I should show you guys Dragon, too. I made progress on Dragon last night. Even David was like, ooh, Dragon. He's like, I really hated it when you started it. That's what you want your loved one, your award-winning painter loved one to say when he looks at your new project, right? Is I really hated it when you started it. Oh. Ooh, it glows in the dark. And you have a Bucky's cup. Okay, let me get my dragon. The dragon that David hated. David simply does not understand the power of an even base coat. An even base coat lets you just go crazy. You know, David is brutally honest. That's part of why I liked him. Oh no, it actually did go, it was, I really hated it, but now I really think it's awesome. It really did go that far. It really did go that far. So that's where we are now. So I took a little bit of the green out. You can see a little bit of it's left, but maybe I'll do a little bit of a variation in the crystals. I was thinking the other day. So some of them will be lighter bluish. Some of them will be more green. Some of them will be like a darker blue. But it's coming right along now. You can see all the crystals coming out. And mostly I pointed out to him because he tends to just go for it and just block. And I like to go more cautiously because I hate repainting. So essentially I pointed out to him that this is with test crystals. So I had to like figure out what I really wanted them to look like before I started. So I started getting all those white lines around the crystals, just started blocking stuff in, a little bit more shading up here, putting a slightly lighter teal on the upper facing faces of these crystals, which you can kind of see, and it'll become more, and the little teeths, yep, the teeths, and the little gums. And he was like, are you sure you're going to be able to keep the focus? And I'm like, look at those pink gums. He's like, oh, good point. An hour of David. If you really want to see brutal David, that hour of David reviewing minis would be show him all the OSL attempts online. And watch him froth at the mouth. That would be the most entertaining thing ever. Oh my god. And then watch him lecture you for 20 minutes on why this is a terrible example of OSL. Most people would be here for that. But anyway, so that's my baby. This is my good dragon. You gotta pet your dragon when you're painting it. You know that, right? Kerniko, totally you pet your dragons when you paint them, right? I'm not the only one. Yeah, why enema is a bad idea. And then you could get me in to totally that person. You have to paint them, but you have to pet them. You have to give them little pets. Like I always pet the dragon when I paint it. And tell it it's a good dragon. Make it make rawr noises. When it's got enough of a face, it'll start to make rawr noises. Although usually they only rawr when their mouth's open. No, you should. If you really want to get better at OSL, talk to my man. Like, seriously. Like, at ReaperCon, if you want the hardcore critique, and if you don't want hardcore, tell him, please go easy on me. And then you won't get as hardcore of a critique. But David, I think, starts out on hard mode. Unlike me, I start out on easy mode. You have to tell me to go to hard mode. But David starts out there. So you got to tell him to go easy on you if you don't want to end up cringing in a puddle on the floor. I've learned to deal with it, mostly by looking at him and saying, I'm just trying things out. Yes, pet, not paint. Yes, you must pet the dragons. Yes. So, that's David. He's really, really blunt. It's the way he is. I wouldn't have him any other way because, when you date somebody like that, there is just no doubt. Like, they're going to tell you if you piss them off and, and exactly how you're doing it. Like, you're never going to be like doubting or questioning anything. That's why I love that. I love that straightforwardness. It's one of the things I treasure in him. I wouldn't change it. Sometimes I have to like jump in and kind of like go, no, please don't melt into a puddle. When he's trying to give a critique, but yes, he did. Yeah, we both have scaled back on teaching at cons because we like to have time to hang out and to like actually interact with people. When you teach a lot at a con, it really kind of wipes you and it sucks up a lot of time where you're not available at your table. And in this particular con, he also was helping me wrangle Kiki, remember? So, but yeah, he knows now, I think. He kind of knew before, but he does get into that mindset, and I do too. I mean, with my color theory class, I really, really did get into the mindset of Oh, I think I've taught this enough. So I'm going to do some stipples across the face here to try to suggest a little bit of leather texture. And I am going to build a slightly lighter version of this color. Looky head bumps your dragon dice bag. That's cute. So yeah, I'm just going to kind of go and do a little bit of stipples that are interrupted with stripes. And that's going to give us texture, which makes it a little more interesting. And it's subtle, just like the texture on here is subtle. But that's the thing with 28s is like, you can't like just go crazy with the texture. It looks wrong. The best you can do if you want is you can, like I said, you can transfer some of this golden color over to a new well or space on your palette, add a tiny bit of white or off-white, and get it a little lighter. It'll stand out a little bit more. But in general, there. But what you've got to watch with these things is some of these golden browns, they've got a lot of brown oxide in them. And when you add white to them, you're going to see it wash out unless there's also a lot of yellow. So it's going to really go like more like leather brown, right? This is halfway. Leather brown is halfway between these two colors, right? But this has gone very pasty now. So if I want to rejuvenate it, I need to add some yellow oxide or just some yellow of any kind. Probably want to add, let's see, no, not yellow enough. I'm just looking at all my yellows here. I'm going to add a little bit of sun yellow, actually. I want to add something, I want to add a yellow with a tiny bit of white in it. Tuesday morning. It is Tuesday morning, or it was Tuesday morning for you, Reaper. Oh, thunderstorm. Yeah, well, we just had our rain, so now... I could use mustard yellow, Gibson, but I'm not. Because I don't actually keep mustard in my box. I keep a lot of yellows. Actually, many people, I think, would probably look askance at me at the number of yellows that I have in my box. But since I reach for them constantly when I'm building highlights for almost everything, it should come as no surprise. Like, I think right now I have as many yellows as I have skin tones. There, I had to use the pokey tool on it, and then I had to clean the pokey tool off. So, Julie, you were here to see my dragon, right? I didn't see green users in the chat before when I showed my. You need to do one of these, Julie. Although I guess the crystals would be a pain in the butt to like actually sculpt. But mustard yellow is gone. Was it killed? Killed and not brought back from the dead? I can tell you how to mix it. Ah, there we go. Tiny bit of sun yellow. That'll warm it up. Okay, so when I add that sun yellow, see that little yellow cast there? It just warms it up. It's not nearly as pasty anymore. It is not purple, actually, Twisted Oma. It's a magic wash, meaning it's a mixture of Surf Aqua, which has a lot of green in it, and Orchid Purple. And the magenta in the Orchid Purple and the green in the Surf Aqua interact to go blue. But there's enough red in the Orchid Purple to take it purple, so it's actually an indigo wash. And I will work with it. I did really, really light. Essentially, I built a glaze with this, and this is the crossover between glazes and washes that I didn't put in the fundamentals video because I don't like to confuse the two for people when they're learning. But I mixed a glaze of this, and then I added medium to it, and it became a wash. Because when you add medium, the paint that you broke will glob back together again. Yeah, it has a great face. I really like that one. All right, so now that I've warmed up my my lighter color here, I can use it for the highest highlights on the leather. Hey there, Daffodweir. Yeah, those are the, like, Lantern and Lemon are the two I most reach for. I do still use yellow oxide, and I do use mold when I'm trying to go for a bronze color, because it has more white and gives you more of that cold effect. We use mold yellow to do the armor on this. This is my paint along and how it's coming along on the Patreon. This is our Marika Sea Guardian paint along. I just did the black armor on her, the black teal armor. We're still working on it. It's a big model with a lot going on, so it's taken a long time to paint. But I did use mold yellow to make the bronze armor. All right, so now let's go back and go to our cool leather texture there and just take a little bit of this lighter color. Let's see how strong it's going to be by dabbing it on the edges. It looks pretty strong. One thing to remember is that paint will tend to look stronger when you first apply it wet, and then it will fade quickly as it dries. So you have a little more leeway than you think. So just a little bit more will bring out more of a leather texture here on her. There. That's probably the most complex leather texture I would ever do on a 28. So yeah, this is a good leather armor treatment. And reminder, you've already linked the socials, but so you don't have to again, Quindy. But on my other paint along, because we do two paint alongs at once, this lady, we're also doing the same armor technique, only at a bigger scale. So and with lighting. So that's where we're doing that right here. I'm going to be working on more of this coming up. So same colors, same type of treatment. And it just shows you that you can absolutely adapt everything I do on a bust down to a 28. You have to simplify it a little bit. But you can also take things you do on a 28 and take it back up. So, and I just put up speaking of the Patreon, I just put up my light red hair PDF for the $10 tier yesterday, and I'm so happy with it because it turned out, I actually used a photo that I wanted to match the hair color of, and I think it nailed it. Like, it's really, really close. And I was super thrilled. Because it's hard to do that. Like, a lot of miniatures is kind of just like exaggeration and approximating reality. So when I hit a point where I can actually equal, like hit a color, especially with a hair color, hair colors tend to be very complex. And I can hit it with a miniatures, a fairly easy to execute miniature scheme. I was pretty happy. Alrighty. So I'm leaving some of these bands will be gold or brass, the blue that you're seeing here. Some of them will actually turn into like black leather down here on the boots. But a lot of this is going to be like a gold trim. I just want to get the armor kind of marked in. Make sure that I've got everything nicely done on that before I execute on the trim. Hey there, John. Yeah, we're heading for Halloween season, and I'm going to be switching up the content a little bit for Halloween season, because we've got so many nice Halloween-themed minis from ReaperCon. So I want to do a lot of those, so we'll probably hit pause on a lot of these projects, anything we don't finish. So we're heading, I mean, next week is October. So I'll probably do the switch. And Quindy, I'll text you the order. And we'll go back to these afterward. But, so my stippling got a little bit too blocky there. I didn't keep the fineness. You really want to hit just with the side of your tip. You can take your base coat color and stipple over the top of that to break it up, though. Oh, did you go check it out? Yeah. Yeah, I like that color a lot. I mean, I really like the Goth Girl Red that I did for the one before that. That was for you, Quindy. If you didn't, I actually call you out in that PDF. The Goth Girl Red recipe was totally for you. And it was cool looking. So yeah, between those two PDFs, and I do one step-by-step for each one, but I also give other recipes. But between those two PDFs, you have like 5 different ways to paint red hair now if you're in my Patreon. And all of them adapt to 28 just as well as they do to the bust that I used it on. I just wanted to use that bust because it's got easy to paint hair. So yeah, I think we've made up for the lack of content on painting red hair. Hey, Kodiak. All the orange and purple that the stream can handle. You don't need to catch up. You just need to read that one PDF, the dark red hair PDF. Because you're going to love the colors. But yeah, we totally have to do the Mouseling Wraith and for Halloween, and we have to... There we go. Pulled it back a bit. I don't want this leg to be as golden as this one, because this one is really underneath. So that's pretty good. So we're going to hold it there. Want to bring in a little more highlights back here on this. Oh no, bumps and puppy finding, Kodiak. Yeah. Well, you know, if you have any questions about any of our breeders, that I can probably let you know. Like, I tell you right away that if you look at Mindy Echo Shiloh's, she's one of the best breeders, but she has such a long waiting list, and she's like also got a new job and is super busy. So she often these days she's way behind on her emails. So things like that I can usually, you know, tell you what's going on. Yeah, no. Quindy or Mindy is just like way, like she has a full-time job as a veterinary technician along with doing like, you know, she lives with her elderly mom, and she's got, you know, she's got like, and then her dogs, you know, she has, she owns 2 or 3. And everything else she does on top of that. So yeah, she has such a long waiting list. She just like, she's like, I know I'm behind. When I talked to her at Bridget's LER, I asked her about it, and she's like, yeah, I know I'm way behind because I've got so many people lined up and I need to catch up on it. So she knows. We're all human though. So yeah. I know a lot, but a lot of them also, it's, you know, this is life, is breeders like me, for example. My website is horribly out of date. Now, that's partially because I didn't have a breeding girl for years. But we all have lives, right? We all have lives and families and jobs. None of us are full-time breeders, except maybe Vanessa, that's a guardian up in Canada. Vanessa has beautiful dogs. But yeah, a lot of us have families and lives and stuff. And so if you need me to contact somebody, I can do that for you. They usually will. Because they know, everybody knows me. Except maybe the newest people. But I mean, I know them all. Like, I know them all personally. So I can tell you who's the best and who's, you know. And I'll tell you, though, the best have some pretty significant waiting lists. And And then there are some things about importing puppies from Canada to the US now, I think. I don't remember if it's Canada to the US or US to Canada. That's the problem. But it might make getting a puppy from Canada harder. But I just did some breeding proposals for Praetorian. That's Jenny Bolter. She's looking at breeding her girl, Coda, coming up. And then there's a new breeder. I can't remember what Darcy named her kennel. But she's coming up. But I think she's homing everything through Vanessa at Guardian because Vanessa's her mentor. So, hold on. Boom. Boom. Okay. Pacific Wild. Darcy also takes great photos. So, and actually Praetorian is right below that. So those two I know have litters coming up, but I don't know. Yeah, I think Jenny's just like not the problem with dog breeders is most of the time they're not technical people. This is what I've learned. I mean, you could have a great breeder who just like is like not very technologically savvy. So their website like looks kind of like meh, but then, you know, they are great people and they do great by their dogs. So but yeah, I mean, if you drop Jenny a note, she should get back to you. I just dropped her a disease risks on her upcoming litter, so. And if not, let me know and I'll touch base with her and tell her I know you. Yeah, and there are a fair number of obvious puppy mills with Shilohs, unfortunately, because they're expensive dogs, and so people look at that and they're like, I could make a couple bucks. But yeah, Praetorian, and I think Campfire, which is Cynthia out in the Pacific Northwest. She's in Seattle area, though she's further away. So I'm just putting an extra highlight here on top of the arm where the light is going to be hitting it. And I need to get that little bit of the hand detail done, too. Yeah, it's a sad thing. And the sadder thing, well, no, I don't even want to get into it. I'm going to shut that comment. Shut the puppy mill talk down right now. Otherwise, I will get on a soapbox, and this is not a political stream. You do not want to get on a soapbox. Oh, no. No, you didn't. Yeah. I was just saying to Gibson more than anything because he was responding to the comment. But it's not a bad on you, Kodiak. It's fine. I'm just saying. I was very tempted there to dive into that, and I backed out. I pulled out of the dive. Mostly because I don't want to get furious about things I can't do anything about this morning. You know, sometimes. I had tried in the past. Let's just say that I had tried in the past to get a breeder who definitely was puppy mill material shut down and had the actual state push back on me because in their state, dog breeders are counted as agriculture. We'll call it there. That's why I was mad. But anyway, we won't talk about it. We'll just move on. Somebody bring up something new. No, I don't. I don't want the chat taken up with that, Gibson. I want to stay positive and move forward today. I played around a little bit with Nomad Sculpt, and although the learning curve is, I don't have much RAM on David. David gave me his iPad and let me play with it. But although my memory is not much on the iPad, I have come to the conclusion that though there is a learning curve, digital sculptors have it cheaty. Pushing the clay around is so much easier with the stylus than it is in reality. But some things are harder, so I guess it balances out. Oh, no. No. No, I don't want to talk about it. I honestly, like these days, my happiness depends largely on acknowledging the things that I can do nothing about and focusing on the things I can. So I do not put my energy into things that will make me really sad and upset. That's just kind of my philosophy these days. I found myself to be a happier person since I stopped reading most of the news, for example. There we go. Excellent. So, and I want to get a little bit more on the side of this knee because that is more, there's less overhanging it over here. So I want to get just a little bit more light here. No, it's not, yeah, no, it's fine. David will come home and he'll be like, hey, did you read about blah? And I'm like, no. And I'm pretty happy about that. Not always. Like, I kind of depend on David to keep me in touch with things that really matter, but still. Oh, and I need to figure out what we're doing with this elbow. It needs to be green, probably. I need to block it in green. It's bugging me now. It's the one unpainted thing on the whole model. So we're gonna make it green, folks. We're gonna make it green. I had wondered about it, but you know what? It works fine. It works fine as a green thing. Oh no, Cornico! The Aurora ghosted you? That's just not fair. Yeah, that's kind of me too, Quindy. Although David got the iPad and he used it intensively for it because he needed it to do, he has Procreate on it. And so he was using it to help with handouts for his classes, which it's really useful for. To go and put the image of the mini in there and just kind of like, paint over it and show people what you mean. That's really, really, really cool. But yeah, then it sat on our desk for a year. So when I was railing at him about Nomad Sculpt the other day, he's just like, okay, and he changed the login so that I could unlock it and use Nomad Sculpt. Very inferiorly because it doesn't have it's got I think 6 megs of RAM. It's enough for basic crap. But I was messing around with it and I'm like, wow, that's so easy. Andy's right, it's really intuitive. Like when I watched Bobby and Jean doing ZBrush, I was like, my brain just exploded. I was like, I am not going to be able to learn that very easily. Big learning curve. More tools, but I'm not sure that those tools are that useful for the miniature sculpting side. It's fun to play with anyway. Oh, the sofa is a notoriously bad place to see heavenly phenomena. Yeah, drawing with it on Procreate. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I actually had to buy a different glove. I had a Wacom glove for my Wacom tablet, and it's not thick enough for iPad. It helps a little, but then it doesn't. So I had to order. I just ordered a new one this morning. That's supposed to be really good for iPad. My Wacom tablet is something that almost never gets dragged out. For a while, I like go through phases. But I'm just really not doing much 2D art these days. Part of me is tempted to get into more into digital painting, but it's just like we have, oh yeah, that green works really well. That's perfect. Perfect. Yay. But we only have so much time in the world, right? So if I pick up something, then I have to drop something else. I'm going to grab my corporeal shadow and pop this over here. And again, if you don't own corporeal shadow, which is a dark bluish, it almost has a little bit of a purplish shift to it because of the red oxide and the walnut, but you can mix corporeal shadow by mixing together sapphire blue 9016 and walnut brown 9136, and it gives you that, which as you can see is very dark and a little bit indigo, just a little bit, and that's the red oxide that's interacting with the blue in the sapphire. So it's a very pretty shading color and underpainting color. Well, it looked like there was a sleeve there to me, Richard Bennett. So, I mean, you could paint it in elbow color if you didn't see a sleeve. Oh, your IntoOS 2 is no longer supported. That's a bummer. I have I have an IntoOS 2 and it's old, so it's probably also not supported. But I'd have to check. But I also have a Wacom 1, just purely for digital painting. I need my Naga green. There. And that is fine. Yeah, well, I think a lot of us are like, shiny, shiny, shiny. We have kitten brain, right? Kitten brain. Yep. Oh, purple and gray. No. I think mine is a little newer than that. I don't know. I got it for free because for a while my relatives were giving me Dick Blick gift cards for Christmas. And I have a lot of art supplies already. So I ended up just kind of saving them up. And when I had like $400 worth, I just dropped it on a Wacom tablet. Because that was when Blick actually had like a decent variety of Wacom stuff. Which I think they've pared down or have almost none or none at this point, but that was perfect. So I got that for. If you are strapped for cash, I was on the Amazon just the other day, Richard, and I did see a refurbished one that was around $170, $180, which is super cheap. So keep your eyes open for those because on the Amazon, on the Zon, right? Reefer Miniatures, right, John? Yes. But yeah, it was a refurbished one. And sometimes you can look into those refurbished electronics, and I think my one actually was a refurbished one, come to think of it. I was glancing at it to see if it was out of date when I was looking at maybe doing sculpting on my computer instead of the iPad. Today on the Zon. Yep. Yeah. Well, you can always repaint it if you want to, Richard. But if it's just you and it's not going to bother you, don't bother with it. Really, it comes down to is how much does it bother your OCD? For me, it would bother me. So I would paint it. But that's me, and I'm not everybody. Thank God. So we're just going to do some Naga green highlight on there to pick it up. Hulan canvas. Interesting. Okay, cool. Is that for 3D sculpting, John, or is it for other art? I know you were sculpting. Yeah, for ZBrush. Yep. Yeah, Andy talked to me into Nomad when I was at ReaperCon. He's like, I was using ZBrush, and then I tried Nomad, and oh my god, so much easier. So I was like, all right, you've sold me. This learning curve was the only thing that kept me away from ZBrush. So I tried it. I've been trying it the last couple nights, just been playing with it. It's fun. Like, it's actually fun. And it seems very intuitive, which I like. ZBrush does have a lot more tools, I think, though. ZBrush is generally a more robust program, I think. But Nomad is fun. And Nomad is mobile only. When you have to get the green back out. That makes sense. Have you been doing any sculpting lately, John? The sculpt off. That's funny. I do want to just get a little bit more blending in on the side here, so I'm going to just do a little over the edge. Just a tiny bit. Alrighty, I think need to build that up just a little more, and I think to do that I'm going to need to build a lighter green. Remember when you're trying to layer colors over dark green, or any dark color, it's easier if you do a mixture that's a highlight with a little bit more white in it, and then you put your green over that. So we're going to mix no, work has been a lot in hobbies outside of work. Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like my hobbies these days are on kind of a round robin. It's like a turnstile where it's like, okay, if I want to work on this, then I have to stop doing X in the evenings, you know. It's like I have time to give like 45 minutes to an hour to two different things in the evening, or to spend like, you know, an hour and a half to 2 hours on one thing. So I have to kind of choose, and it depends on what I'm into. I haven't been playing computers at all lately. I told David, I warned him after ReaperCon I wanted to paint more, so. Yeah, Fiverr. There's probably good Facebook groups also to find artists, depending on what you want done. You could also, I don't know what the rules are, but there are some 3D sculpting Reddits as well. And a lot of Reddits discourage self-advertisement, but I'm not sure about, you know, you might be able to find one that is okay with it. Or just like, you know, go around, see what people post that they've worked on and say, oh, this guy's good, and contact them, you know. Depends how much work you want to put into finding a sculptor. There we go. So I put down the highlight, which enables me to paint over it with my Naga green and get a brighter result faster. Custom sculpt for diorama. Yeah, I gave up. I decided not to do Baldur's Gate 3 because we had already spent like so much time in the last couple months playing Diablo that I was like I just kind of burned out on computer games right now. I don't really have I'd rather do other forms of escape in the evening. I'd rather do creative stuff. I go in like kind of like spells like that. It depends too on David. If he's really into something, then if I want to spend time with him, I've got to be into that thing, but lately, he's also been wanting to do a lot of hobbying, so for once we're in sync. Just going to bring this down a little bit. Hey there, Sir Gambit. I have actually I was reading the Crafter's Dungeon series, and I just got I just downloaded a lit RPG. I went to a Reddit. I like Reddit. I have to say this. I do like Reddit. Reddit is my kind of social media platform. But I went to the Reddit and found a thread where people were talking about their favorite lit RPGs and what they thought were the best ones. And so I downloaded the first book of Dungeon Crawler Carl. Or Dungeon something Carl. Whatever. That thing. Yeah, I think it is Dungeon Crawler Carl. DCC. And decided to read it. I had seen it before. But I'm curious to see, because I find some lit RPG to be a little bit too heavy on the mechanics. So I'm curious to see what it's like, this book. Which a lot of people rate as their number one fave. And it should be good popcorn fiction. But yeah, I read in the evening when I'm doing my stretches. So I still have 20 to 30 minutes. And I'm a fast reader. Because I've been reading since I was a little kid. But now that I'm starting to write book 3 more and work more on book 3, I wondered if I'd be able to read lit RPG because it's fairly different from fantasy, but I don't know if I can because I'm kind of getting those ideas. Like I start reading a genre and I start getting ideas and I'm like, uh-oh. Whereas mystery never makes me want to write it. Like, I usually read, when I'm writing, writing my fantasy stuff, I usually read cozy mystery. Because it never makes me want to write a cozy mystery, which is why I can manage to still get my reading in. But lit RPG actually makes me think about writing a lit RPG. And that is a sign that I probably cannot read it while I'm working on my own books. I did Crafter's Dungeon. I liked the premise more, Kodiak. It does get a little heavy on the numbers. I often skim through a lot of the hardcore crafting stuff. But overall, I like the story and the characters, so... Quindy. The Baldur's Gate 3. Quindy, you're awesome. Just doing a highlight. I'm just popping around to different areas now on the model where I can see that I need to work on the leather. And I've got to do the back here. I think that's almost the last piece except for the back of the leg back here. Lit RPG is, gosh, I read a great description of it. Lit RPG is fantasy that's written as if you're inside of a computer game. So it actually does talk about things like stats and hit points are part of the story. Yeah. The heavier lit RPG is going to actually talk about, hit points and, power meters and things like that. I think that you could do a really, refined version where you weren't as heavy into that. But I happened across one that I enjoy on Royal Road, the free reading platform. And so I decided to try a different one. But even then, I only am interested in them if the characterization is fun and the world building is fun. And they're good at world building in general. That's one thing that I've found with lit RPG, and including the dungeon core stuff, is that the world building tends to be actually pretty fun. And I am a world builder at heart, so that's enjoyable. But they're definitely not for everybody, and there are times when the mechanics and everything just kind of get in the way of the story, and I get frustrated. Even though the mechanics are a large part of the genre. So if you're a fantasy reader, it depends on how granular you like your magic, I'd say. I think it's the same kind of reason people like Brandon Sanderson's magic systems, where they're very granular and understandable, and you can extrapolate and figure out how they work as a reader. and you get excited. It kind of does hit that part of your brain that likes to level in MMOs and RPGs. Like you get that same feeling when you read about the character leveling up as you would if you were playing the game. So I think it plays to that. It's an interesting genre. And it's very booming right now. I would say it's as interested by D&D. I mean, it does have that video game feel to it, yet at the same time, sometimes it just feels like a D&D video game. Turgeon. A lot of them are very based on like D&D type worlds, from what I've seen. Some of them are not. Some of them are very out there. Dungeon Crawler Carl is one that's pretty out there. But if you accept the outlandish premise, then the rest of the book is fun, apparently. I'm going to try it. It's on Kindle Unlimited, so if I start reading it and I don't like it, I'll just return it before I read it all. That's the great thing about Kindle Unlimited. I'm somewhere in between, but I tend to be a hoarder. At least I used to. Like, it's weird. As I've moved away from being a pack rat in my real life trash, I've actually done the same in video games. It's kind of crazy. I've gotten to the point where I really don't like a full inventory, and I will periodically go through my bags, like my stash in Diablo, and just sell crap, because I'm like, I'm hanging on to this for no reason. It needs to go. So I've moved from, I used to save everything and had tabs of stuff where I'm like, I could give this to another character. But now I understand that, like, in any of these games, I'm only ever playing the one character. So it's either give it to a friend, put it in the guild bank, or just let it go. I feel better when I let it go. Wow. You might need it someday. Wow, crazy. Yeah, I mean, I was never quite that bad. I guess I did keep those longer than I should have when I was first playing WoW. Because I'm like, well, I can just use these. But then I had leveled up far enough in little enough time that I no longer, those were just not optimal anymore. Having a lot of stuff does tend to, like, weigh me down mentally, so once I realized that, I was like, I need to just let it go. I've decided I really like STLs because they don't weigh me down mentally. They're just kind of out there in the ether. They're not taking up space in my closet. Going to bring this out a little bit more here. All right. And we got, oh no, I did it wrong color. Ha ha! That should have been leather, folks. Oh no, I was on autopilot. Autopilot. Lots of random books in Skyrim. Yep. You're a purger. Yeah, I definitely have become a purger. I've moved too much, John. I've moved too many times. And even now that we've been in this house for 2 years now, almost 2 years. No, it is 2 years. I'm still resisting getting more stuff. To be fair, it's a fairly small house, so it's like, and David has a lot of stuff. In fact, I was just thinking the other day about going through my closet and purging it. And I think I'm gonna... And I need a new organizational system for this room because I'm starting to get clutter piles, and I hate clutter piles. Yeah. STLs, yep. I have a pretty big hard drive. Actually, I have a pretty big hard drive on this new computer. If you didn't know, I guess those of you who weren't on the stream yesterday, I'm working on the new computer now. And except for one big blorf yesterday, it seems like our connectivity problems are much better. Yeah, Doom piles. They are, Gibson. They are. Yeah, I got the new computer. Yes. Oh, are we calling it? Like, I'm calling it down upon us, Quindy, when I mentioned that. But it wasn't the same kind of problem we used to have, so pretty sure that, except for random Twitch and random internet crap, I think we're okay. And, you know, you're just going to get random crap every once in a while. So I'm redoing this in leather like I should have. But yeah, I've got a lot of, I think this has got a terabyte. Like this it's funny, this refurbished computer I bought, I got it through Joy Systems. I liked working with them. They were good, and it came up nice, very nicely packaged. But yeah, it's better than my old gaming system in all ways. But yeah, if I run out of room on my, because I'm trying, and that's actually, you know what, Trash, that's what's keeping me from downloading more STLs. Well, both money, because they do still cost money. They don't cost as much as actual resin models, but they still cost money. Money and also just space. I know how much room they take up, and I don't want to take up. I mean, I've got a lot of room on my Max hard drive, but that kind of keeps me. It makes me hesitate. So. Right now I'm waiting. Actually, I've got 2 amazing models that are sitting in STL form on my computer that I'm not allowed to start until I'm done, at least with Dragon. Because I've been waiting to paint Dragon for so long. And I don't want another model to come along and distract me. So I have to finish at least the 3D print model my first ever 3D printed model that we printed ourselves. I have to finish that first. Then I can choose one of my next models. And then maybe I'll probably say I can have a cube. But I don't know, having those 2 models there, that feels doable. I'm still very wary of having the overwhelm hit from just having too many things on my brain. It's real for me. Oh, yuck. That's too bad, Gibson. The resin printer is fun. I will say that I was not expecting it to be so fun, Crowley. Once you get the hang of it, it's really pretty easy. I think I'm going to make... I don't need that to be green, though. I'm going to make that leather. That little sleeve. I mean, technically, yeah, I can make it leather. Rotating carousel minis. Yeah. No, David does that, too. That's why we have one of those tall IKEA cases in our hobby room that's full of started and abandoned projects, and most of them are David's. And sometimes he tries to foist them off on me. He's like, do you want to finish this? One of his pieces I'm really tempted to finish, too, because I really like the bust, and the company's out of business. It was that rogue, that elf rogue that I showed you guys a long time ago. But yeah, I think the next paint along thing that we choose for the Patreon, is I'm gonna, I want to make it something that you can order the STL of, because there are so many companies where it's either super expensive to ship them from Europe, or it's super expensive or impossible to get them in Europe from America, and so I really want to kind of try to find a happy medium on the next paint along that we choose for my Patreon. All right, just a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to make that little symbol gold. I'm going to make all this edging gold. I could do these cords in the leather color or in gold. I think I want to make the end ones the leather color, since technically they should be strings. Oh, the Kiki versus Spruce incident. Yep, yep. Yeah, yeah. We put ours in the garage, which is good because then it's totally like, you know, I don't let Kiki go in there when it's running. And once we set it up and let it go, I just open the window, the big window, and let it run. And then when it's done, we open up the garage door. So it's actually having it in the garage is really cool. When it gets really cold out, then we won't be able to print. So I'll probably have to print my two STLs that I have like in waiting. We'll have to print those before the winter comes in, while it's still a decent temperature out. It's a pretty fast printer too. I was pleasantly surprised. So I'm gonna paint these like leather, because it would normally. I'm not gonna string the bow on this one. I think it's such a pain in the butt. Although you do have room to string it if you want, technically. Although to go over her chest, I think it's at the wrong angle here. Yeah, that's a little bit more than we probably want to do. But how is this spider going to 3D print her new mansion? Yeah, right? Hey, Roger, thanks for the resub. 37 months. Nice. Yeah, I don't want to. I mean, we aren't that into it. Like, that's the thing. It's like, an enclosure would be going a bit far. Plus, I need to be able to use that surface for other things at different times. So, if we really wanted to get a space heater for the garage, we could do it. But I just think we're not going to worry about it that much. Right, Kiki? I hear a licky paws. Are you going to visit us? Are you going to visit us, Papa? Come on up. Say hi to the peeps. Yeah, you can do it. She doesn't like this chair because it's wobbly. Oh, I'm sorry, Bubba. Here, you can get up on my knee instead. The knee is better, right? Yeah, the knee is better. There's a papa. There's my papa. Yeah, good girl. 100 pixies in a techno club. Oh, good girl. Yes, we have a Kiki. She came to visit. Yeah, she doesn't like this, she doesn't like my kneeling chair here because it wobbles a little bit. Yeah, I'm not stable, huh, Bubba? Not quite yet, pup. Give me about 10 minutes. Work. No, Barkies. No. Alright, I think we've got that blocked in, so now I can highlight those. Oh no. Well, okay. To be fair, Gibson, like it just takes a non-zero bark noise to make a Sheltie bark. Let's admit that, okay? I grew up with that breed. Barkiest, maybe not the barkiest, but one of the barkiest breeds out there. Doing a little very quiet for a Sheltie. That's nice. Let's do a little bit of highlighting on this little leather bit. Just trying to get all the leather figured out here so that we can do more fun things next time. Oh, and I can hit the green on the bow too because I have my highlights mixed up. So next time on this model, we'll probably do all the gold edging. Get that and get this. Just the little tiny detail things. Kiki, no digging. She's like, but I want to go on my walk. I want to go on my walk, Mom. Mom. That's totally Kiki, by the way. Hello, Clicky Paw. Yeah, good girl, good settle. She's like, so bored. I'm so bored. Yes, Grindy. If it was carpet, I mean, when it's carpet or rugs, it's bad enough. But it's when it's hardwood, it's like that. All right, now I need to apply my green here, and I want to take my light color and highlight these little arrow shafts as well. Yay. Today is another Patreon day. I'm still trying to catch up after ReaperCon. After losing so much time to ReaperCon. I've learned my lesson. Never again will I lose 2 weeks in a month. I lost almost 2 weeks, and I did lose 2 weeks overall, but only 11 days of it or 12 days of it was in October. It's been a huge stressor to try to catch up from that. No vacation longer than a week from now on. Who stole September, right? Yeah. Yeah, I kind of feel like that too. I mean, and I write the date in my journal every day when I'm doing my morning journal. And even then I'm like, whoa, how did it, wow. Yesterday actually felt like I had my whole brain though. And so the time went slower. It was a much more enjoyable day. Yeah, because the first part of it was ReaperCon, and then when you come back, you're recovering from ReaperCon. And then by the time you recover from ReaperCon, you're like, eek, it feels like it should be the beginning of the month. And then it's not the beginning of the month, so you're continually surprised that it's no longer the beginning of the month. I was looking up the dates for Monte Sansevino. We won't make it this year, but we might try to do it next year. That is an Italian convention that a lot of the best in Europe go to. It's pretty much the premier European painting competition these days. And David and I have been talking about getting over there. But I'll need to have something that I'm really proud of if I'm going to go over there and spend the money to go to that miniature show. Not going to be a cheap trip. So doing a little bit of highlighting on the greens there just to bring them up. There we go. So that's showing up nicely now. Okay. We definitely kept this character firmly in the realm of Wood Elf. Once we put the gold on, the armor's red. I might bring some red tones in on the fletchings here. Thinking about it. Yeah, I hear a lot. I mean, Francesco, who runs it, he's asked David and I to come a couple years. Whenever we see him at Adepticon, he asks us to come over. But it's such a big trip, and with the puppy now, it's going to be double expensive because house dog sitter, as well as the trip to Europe for two of us. So it's something we have to plan. Oh, I almost forgot to do the armor up here. And I think that is a strap for her quiver that comes across up there too. Oh, no, that's the hood. All right, we can keep that. And I need to remember that this is a little earring, so I'll keep that up there. But yeah, we know a lot of the European painters, David especially, because he was doing Crystal Brush for a while, so he knows more than me. But I would like to meet, like, it would be cool to go and see those guys in person in their neck of the woods. Plus, it's supposed to be a really cool little town. That's in November, so we'll have to plan for next year. This year we're going to Hawaii, obviously, next month. So there was that's enough. That's enough travel for me for the year. I'm doing Hawaii, and I'm doing our national dog show for Shiloh Shepherds, and that is it for me. Like, apparently David's parents, like, they're going to come down and visit us for Christmas, and apparently they were like, if you guys want to take a trip while we're here, I was like, no. Like, no. Right. Well, he's not in Italy anymore, though, Gibson. He's in Spain, so I would have to go to a totally different area in order to leave it on Luca's doorstep. So I want to take my highlight color, which is a pale golden brown here, and just get some highlights on these. $18 hours is enough. I'm doing 20 to the dog show. 2.5 days, and I might just decide to do a power drive on the way back and do 12-hour day again just to get home. It's going to wreck me, but I pretty much committed to going to the National Dog Show this year because they're having it in Denver, which is close enough to where I am. So they need people out west to show up. Yes, for sure, Quindy. Alrighty. Gonna shade in under this arm and then we can call it. Just want to make sure I double down on the shadow there, since there's a big heavy shadow falling over the top there. Okay. I think we got all the leather. Let's take a look. Nope. Need to touch up there though. I'm going to do these bits on either side of the grip in brass, though. Oh, missed this side. Going to do a quick on the back of the leg here. Gibson, as we had discussed before, I kind of assumed that anything you say is a troll at this point. Seems to be your brand of humor. You and Ed would have gotten along great. Ed was totally a troll. He would get all like, you know, like, I am not a troll. And I would just look at him. Like, seriously, Ed, you were the trolliest troll. You got yourself banned from an NMO because you were trolling the trolls. He's like, yeah, I only troll the people who deserve to be trolled. And I'm like, I don't know that makes it better. That was totally Ed. Oh, I don't mind if you troll Luca. I don't care. I just, you know, and I don't see you troll Luca. All I see is you trolling on my stream. Like, I try not to judge people. I try not to judge anybody, anything anybody does on Luca's stream. Because Luca. Oh, knocking over stuff. Think whatever happens on Luca's stream stays on Luca's stream. That's my philosophy. Do you think that's a fair philosophy, Quindy? All right, so we're going to leave those little buckles and do those in metal. And we've got the whole thing there. That's all metal, 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 metal. I think I'm good. Up maybe just a little bit of there. Because I did make that metal or that leather on the other side. And then we can end it. End it! And then I can try to get on with my day. Though I have to call the roof people. But apparently the warranty on our roof is 50 years. Which is crazy. But that's because it's not shingles, I assume. There we go. There we go. Better. I wish most of it would stay off Luca's stream. 50 years, yep. And it was redone in 2018, so we are well within. It's a foam roof. It's a foam roof. It's not shingles, so it's actually foam. But it means that it's great at keeping the house cool when it gets really hot. And it's pretty good at keeping in heat in the winter. Although in the winter the windows get us. The fact that we have many of them in big windows. But yes. So yeah, I have to call the people and see if they can come out and take a look at our leak. At least there's a little drippy mark up there, so I know exactly now where it came from. Now that it's dried out, it's sunny out now. Oh, the birds. Yeah, there's a big crow cawing out there, and there's Tweety birds. Tweety birds. I have a dove at my bird feeder now. Oh, I wanted to tell you, Cornico, the cutest thing. The cutest bird thing. And these are not normally cute birds. They're gigantic sparrows. They're towhees. So a California towhee is like a big brown bird that looks like a giant fat sparrow. But this morning, we've got a hedge that at the top, the little round leaves all poof up. And it's really poofy and cushy at the top. And this morning when it was really fine rain was coming down, those big sparrow birds were sitting up on top in the poofy leaves. And they were trying to take a bath in all the water that was getting caught in the little rounded leaves. It was so cute. Oh my gosh, they are not normally cute birds, but it was really adorable. Because they were just trying to take a bath on the top of the hedges. It was just really neat. I was like, aw, we have a pair of them that I think nests in that hedge because I see them at the feeder a lot. They're ground feeder birds. They don't actually get up on the feeder post. They're too fat. They're too fat. And I think they've definitely, I used to call them fat birds, and I think they've gotten fatter since, you know, they've started eating at my place. 46 months to encode. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's insane. I'll have to sing to you in 2 more months. Yeah. So there we go, guys. I think we're actually moving right along on this model. I don't have anything special like planned for her basing, but maybe I'll think about it. Maybe we'll do something fast with the putty like I did with the basing gel medium like I did for the Moonlight Minis. Maybe we'll do a pressed moss and stuff. So, but yeah, they were really cute. They were trying to do the bird bath flutter thing in the rainy leaves. But I never see them. I see them drink at my bird bath. I never see them actually bathe in my bird bath. So I don't know. They're very dusty looking birds as it is. All right, guys, there we go. Tomorrow, we're back on sculpting duty for part of it. We need to get the ear on our griffin here. I think it definitely has a different expression on each side. It's a little friendlier on this side because I did that little curve in the beak, but I think we're just stuck with it at this point. That's fine. So I'm going to do the ear on this side here. Yeah, Griffin. Yeah, I didn't make it as smiley on this side. It needed to be smilier. And we actually need to put eyes in, I think. I don't know. I mean, I guess I'll carve a little bit. I guess I'll try to put a little eye in on each side, a little bit. Because mostly I just carved in for the eyes. And it'd be fine if we left it there. But I could also just put a little bit of a pad in there. So we'll do the ear, and then I'm going to kind of... Probably... We can't paint over that, so I may start putting in grasses and stuff around and filling out this territory. We'll probably use a dead grass color because it's I want to do wintry stuff. And then I think we'll do the snow after the grasses because I want to do snow. And then eventually we'll do a brazier for the top of the head here, but I'm going to have to 3D print that. So that'll be a little while. And we'll probably switch over to Halloween stuff before we finish it, which is fine because it'll be a snow base. So by the time we're done with Halloween stuff, it'll be winter and we can do a snow base for winter. It'll work, right? It'll work. I planned it that way. So that's what we'll do. Thank you very much for showing up. Thank you very much for hanging out with me. And we will be back tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel, for those who remember that. And yeah, have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.